Hello, Gemini. Welcome. Thank you for joining me today. So the energy that we're in right now, we're out of we're coming out of the equinox energy and coming into the full moon energies. Okay, so we're like right in between, and the energy just feels like really different to me today, super fresh. And so I'm excited to see how it translates specifically for you through your sign. So I'm going to start with getting an overall energy from the Animal Oracle deck, and we'll just see. Yeah, we'll just see how this is presenting for you. And you'll find this whenever it's relevant for you. But, you know, right now this feels like a fresh new something, you know. And it's landing on your reading. So that means something. There we are on the floor. Let's see what we get. Oh, okay. Interesting. So the abundant universe will provide, and slow and steady wins the race. So immediately there's a kind of like a patience message coming through, and also reassurance. Like whatever this is you're being patient for, that you're waiting for, is coming for you. You know, that's what I'm feeling straight away from that. So let's move into the tarot and see what else wants to be said. Just looking at these cards a minute. We get a 10 card here. This is 10, so number of completion. Okay, so also having the feeling that like as you're kind of like wrapping up something, you know, this being sort of the reward on the other side. That might not be the right wording, but let's keep going here. Okay, Queen of Air. Let me pull another one. I'm gonna move to a different deck to clarify that. Queen of Air. What is she about? What is she about for Gemini right now in relation to this? Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, so it comes out with the Six of Wands, which is the victory card. So these two combined, this one clarifying this, because, you know, she sets boundaries. She's also really clear seeing. So I'm feeling like this is a little bit of like, and what was I saying? Like the completion and then your reward, you know, like you've completed something, you've had some sort of victory in terms of your seeing or your boundaries. But often when we see something clearly, that's when we do set a boundary where we're like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. You know, I'm saying no to this, or I need to take this action in a different way. So a victory there. Let's get more, see what else wants to say about that. Yeah, interesting. Okay, Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles, so there's these two go together. Very much a patience card, but also validating this message as well, because in this deck, she's pregnant, so there's an inevitability that what she is birthing, what you are birthing is coming. And we're being patient with that final process, that, you know, the last days, the last phases of this gestation, the fact that this comes up as a 10 card and you get this victory card. It's like you're very, very close. That's what I'm feeling. You're very, very close. She's very, very pregnant, okay? And you might have, and these two cards with the, yeah, actually these two. The Seven of Pentacles, which is very much a process card. It's also a patience card. Combined with the Turtle, you might have been working on this for a really long time. You might have been working on this for a long time. What was sticking out for me in this card was these, I don't even know what they are. I've had this deck for so long. I've never really noticed this. I think they're actually feathers that are kind of like swirling around her. But in a lot of the other cards, even in other decks, what this kind of like swirling energy has been representing to me is the energetic field. Okay, the energetic field, the field of potentials that we're feeling into, also aspects of ourselves that we can feel into, dormant codes that are ready to activate, or even subtle energies that we can perceive. So this circle thing, and the fact that I never noticed it in this card, I feel like it's a similar message. It's a message that's been coming through in a lot of the collective readings and a lot of the astrological ones as well, just the last like week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, where it's like there's a lot of information in the auric field, in the energetic field, in the field behind. So I'm not sure what this is specific for you, but the first thought that I had with this when I saw it was like an Akashic type of thing. An Akashic type of thing where you were working on a really deep level that was reaching really far back, which kind of makes sense with this slow and steady. You know, it's like you kind of have to go slow when you're unraveling patterns that are far reaching, because you go deeper and deeper levels. So you might have been, you know, going, you know, peeling the onion, right? The layers of the onion. You go the layer you can, and then you do another layer, time you, it's kind of coming up in the Taurus reading too, like every time you clear something within this lifetime, within your energy field, it actually hooks up with other lifetimes where you had that same pattern. So like clearing on really, really deep levels, which is why it can take a while, which is why, you know, I mean, the birth is inevitable, but you know, it can be a process because it's really deep. But again, with this completion number and with this being a card of victory, it's like you've gotten to the dregs, let's put it that way, right? Like you've gotten into the core, you know, the core of the onion, like really a celebratory time. Maybe this is related to the Queen of Air too, because it's like when you come to the center and, you know, just coming out of these equinox energies, where we're really in that 0 point field where the polarities are balanced, the veil's a bit thin. You know, this is kind of like, oh, it's really interesting. It's reminding me of a dream I had last night. Like I woke up last night and I was so blissed out. And this hasn't happened in a while, but usually when that happens for me, it's like there's some kind of shift in the energy, like there's something that's been cleared. That's how I feel. Okay, so right after that, I went back to sleep and I had this dream that there was this baby, like this like golden, like cherub baby Jesus, you know, just the purest type of energy represented in this baby, but there were like these blue veils. So the baby was like over here in my consciousness, but then the blue veils were kind of like right here in front of my face, like they were right in front. So all I had to do was kind of like a page of air energy where you're kind of clearing away the cobwebs. All I had to do was clear away the cobwebs. This kind of relates with so this might be kind of a collective energy, actually. This might be how it's translating for you, but with this completion energy and this victory, it's like we're so close to the birth, and we're so close to the birth that it really didn't take much to clear away this blue film that was like, it wasn't like over top of the actual baby, but it was like over top of my perception of the baby, and all I had to do was literally just like wave my hand and it was going. So that was sort of the theme of the dream, was like clear the veils. But you know, when the veils clear, and what I was going to say before I remember that dream is like with the equinox energy, anytime we're at sort of like a powerful center, like the solstices or equinoxes, that's or even, you know, like you know, any of the times of the year when the veils are kind of thin, right? It's easier to make progress, it's easier to pierce through, and it's not just like oh, it's easier to do that. I'm trying to make a point here. Let's see if I can land it, because it's like, I just want to clarify. It's not just like, oh, it's easier to do that, so let's take advantage of this opportunity and use our will. Like, yes, but there's also like, because, you know, we're evolving, you know, we're evolving as a collective, you know, each time we come to another like node point, in a sense, with the veils thinning, it's also a divinely timed thing. It's divinely timed. So it's not just like, oh, this is a great time to do this. It's like, no, this is like a divinely timed passage that we're passing through, and every time we pass through another, it's deeper and deeper. Again, the layers of the onion, we get deeper and deeper, and we're so deep right now. We're like at the core of that onion, where we're kind of in that 0 point field where we can just see really, really clearly, and that's when we can really make some moves and really know which moves to make. Okay, so after all this kind of like patience and waiting, and I'm getting chills actually, I feel like you've been working on maybe certain patterns or maybe certain manifestations, but I don't mean manifestations, and again, it's like clarifying, it's not just like, oh, I want this and I'd really like to pull this in my life. It's like things that you were destined, part of your soul contract, part of your soul blueprint to bring in this lifetime. Okay, so things you've been working on throughout lifetimes, preparing for this one, because we're at that time. This is going to be my like time of the veils thinning and things falling away. So it's time when the veils are effortlessly falling away, because we've been working at this for a really, really long time. That's what I'm feeling is really coming through in your reading, Gemini. It's actually pretty profound. Is that you've really been at this for a long time, lifetimes, and this is when it's landing. This is true for a lot of us, but it's just how it's wanting to present specifically for you today. Okay, something that like a life path, a life mission. So this reward energy, this abundant universe providing, it's almost like cosmic law. Like you are that buffalo, like you came in for this with that much determination. Even if you forgot, you know, I mean, we all fell into density. We all sort of forgot like how deep and profound our souls are. Like, look at how deep and profound your soul is. Look at how ancient you are. Look at how much you have at your disposal. how much that abundant universe will provide is like, that's your energy providing for you, because this is who you are. This is who you are. You're ancient, and you've been at this. It's a powerful message. You've been at this for a really long time. It's funny because I'm sitting in a different spot today, and I have this like, see that guy, the like talking African mask? Like, I remember hearing the ones that have the teeth are the ones that really talk to you, and I love that he's like kind of right above my head, you know, kind of this like kind of ancient energy coming through from somewhere else. Okay, this is you, and there's a lot bleeding through from somewhere else. Okay, so that's a different message that I'm feeling off this card. You know, you have this access right now that you've earned, and so there's a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowing coming through. The veil is back. There's a lot for you to access. So let's get a little more about that. I'm gonna go into the Light Seers deck. Okay, I get so distracted when I'm outside, but I'm away from my home again, so I have to do it outside when I'm here, but I'm trying to stay focused. Okay, so Page of Pentacles. Okay, so you're on a very new path. What was I just clarifying? I was clarifying like the access that you have now is new. It's like you're at the beginning of a new phase. And this new phase, this new path very much has to do with accessing more of yourself, also accessing more of the behind, which is what I was talking about here with this kind of stuff swirling around, okay? And again, it was coming through specifically with sort of like Akashic details in a way, like, you know, codes that might have been dormant from your past, other lifetimes that you've had, or, you know, some people don't think of it, I mean, it's not really other lifetimes because there's, really time is an illusion. So sometimes I'd like to say it as like aspects of yourself, other aspects of yourself that are functioning but haven't been like funneled through, haven't come forth in this lifetime to assist you. But you're starting on this very new path, not only of accessing more of you, but it's, you know, it goes both ways, because these other parts of you that you're accessing are assisting you on this new path. So it's like they're ready to come in at this time to help you with this new venture that you're doing. But part of this new venture, like the first part of this is receiving more of yourself. Receiving more of yourself. It's kind of like step one, feeling into the behind and seeing what's there for you that wants to flesh out. I'm going to get another one. Oh, wow. 9 of Cups. Okay, so 9 of Cups. It's funny because this 9 of Cups is so dreary to me. I'm not sure if this is related to your reading. I'm just kind of chatting right now. Like, for a card that's so full of celebration and like, I'm getting everything that I want, it has like this sort of like darker hue about it, and even this sort of golden color is sort of muted. But here she is jumping out of her box of treasures, you know, and it's almost like maybe this is a little bit of, because you've been in this energy for so long, this sort of like waiting and slow and steady, maybe there's been sort of a darker hue where you've, again, like the veils that you've had to, going back to interpreting this card is like with my dream, where I had to like push away the veils to get to that like golden baby. Like, what is the golden baby but like the fruition of our dreams, right? What we want, but also what we've been working on for a very long time. Again, like that ancient aspect of us that's coming forward, to really live in our lives, to live embodied in your life now at this time, fleshing out all your dreams, fleshing out all that you chose to experience and bring forth in this lifetime at this point in human evolution. However, there's kind of this like, you know, darker veil on top of it, because, you know, because of the forgetting and the process, you know, the process of awakening, the slow process, and how it's been really slow for all of us because there's so much density on this planet. There's so much density and distraction and, you know, things that have held us down. Okay. But, you know, so kind of like that, again, the veils being removed, the veils of the heaviness, and the truth of the situation, if we take away this heaviness, is that you're jumping in joy out of your treasure box into your wishes fulfilled, into this, you know, providing that's coming through your soul. Okay, so that kind of clarifying, also this being a part of this new path, and she's kind of in that same kind of coloring, you know, with the golden energy. Even though this is a cup, it has a prosperity feeling to it, this being a path of prosperity. So let's get a little bit more. I'm going to pull from one of the oracle decks, and sorry about the wiggling, and just get one word, or maybe we'll get a couple cards here. No, that was just one. Refuge. Huh, interesting. Refuge. Okay, so we're asking about this new path that you're walking on, which is one of wish fulfillment, which is one of landing that which you've been working on for a very long time, from ancient times, really, bringing all of this forward, the powerful being that you are, coming out of this phase of awakening and waiting and starting to land in the physical, the truth of who you are. I love that this card Refuge comes out, because my daughter and I talk about that a lot, how it's like feeling comfortable in our own skin. And what's funny is we've recently painted the walls in her room this color, because this color to us represented like being held, like really being held, like a refuge, you know, like really being held. You know, we wanted to create a sanctuary for her. But this was the color that came through. This was also the color that was in my dream with a baby. It was this golden color. So this golden age, you know, aside from the darkness, but that's, you know, that's kind of seeping through. This being the path that we're all moving on, but this coming up specifically for you, and this new path being a refuge, where before, you know, we had a lot of trials. We had a lot of trials, and we'll see if it wants to come up or not. Because what's interesting is okay, I might get into that later. I'm not gonna go there for now. But basically, this new path being a refuge. No, I am gonna go there, because for a while, what's been coming up in the readings has been this like, and it's a little bit. It shows a little bit here with this darker energy, where we're moving into these new energies. We're moving on to our higher timelines, but there's still some of the past, the past, and the, like, you know, again, the process and the trying to remember. Okay. Is still a little bit, again, those veils, like still a little bit kind of clouding the view, clouding the view, still kind of like hanging around a little bit. But I love that this hooked up with my dream again, with the golden, like here's the fruition underneath, and there's just a little bit of this veiling but it's effortless. So it's like, you know, just like taking a duster and just kind of like dusting it off, so that this can come through. Because the truth of this path, despite the memory of you know, this kind of overlay, is that it's a refuge. It's like we get to live in our lives, and this is something that my daughter and I talk about, and what I was bringing up with this color. It's like being comfortable in our own skin, and being comfortable in our lives, and having our lives match the truth of who we are on deepest level. Not just sort of like, oh, I'm comfortable, and, you know, I arrange things so I can kind of like survive the fuckery of this realm. You know, it's like having it truly match on a soul level who you are, you know, and you know, that being kind of, and that kind of being like the Queen of Swords too, where it's like, how can I arrange things in my life so that they really match me? And that's why we chose this color, because this was the color that her soul called out for. So we painted the whole room, we painted her ceiling, and, you know, we wove in all these symbols all around her, but doing that in our lives, you know. And so that everything in our life is matching what feels at deepest core, you know, to be who we are, the deepest part of ourselves, and cutting out that which doesn't, you know. So this being really much a boundary card, but also a choice card of like bringing in what matches and letting go of what doesn't, so that our life feels like a refuge. So I feel like there is a bit of action, you know, in this reading, where there is, but it feels really effortless to me. It feels really effortless, and we'll see if one of those like heavier cards comes up. But whenever there's a heavy card in the reading, I'm like, okay, this energy is still hanging around. It's still kind of dominant in your field. But so far, at least, the only indication of it is just this tiny little whisper, you know, this tiny little hint of it, you know, on the edge of like one of the best cards in the deck, you know. So, and that's the energy that I'm feeling. That's what I was feeling from that dream last night. Like, we're at this point. So for a while in the collective readings, and also expressed through the astrological readings, was very much like we've stepped into this garden. We're stepping onto our higher timelines, but there's still a lot of stuff, you know, a lot of stuff from the past that's getting kicked up, because we're in this new terrain. But what I felt, the shift that I felt with the equinox, is like we've kind of like done a lot of work with that stuff that's come up in response to that old energy, and being like, okay, this is her. You know, like, I understand what this is. This is old energy. I'm not going to let it self-sabotage me, you know, because I'm in the garden now. You know, I'm going to see this for what it is. I'm going to allocate it where it goes. I'm going to set boundaries. I'm going to blah, blah, blah. You know, I feel like that was kind of the energy from, like, you know, the last week, 2 weeks, or whatever. But with the shift with this equinox and where we're at now, so even if you find this later on, the shift would have already happened. Okay, we're in this energy where it's like it's not like super present. It's not super present in our field anymore. It's easy. It's easy to move away. So we are moving deeper onto our new path where it's starting to feel like a refuge. I'm going to move into the wizard deck here. See what else we get. We're at 20 minutes. I don't know if it wants to say more. Oh, yes, it's so beautiful. So we get sorry, my mind, I started thinking, never mind. My mind went somewhere else. We get the Knight of Wands and the World. Okay, so beautiful, wonderful, validating message to what I was just saying, because this was the card I was using before, where we walked through the garden. It was the portal. We walked through the portal, started walking onto our higher timelines. Okay, and this was sort of like we just stepped through the door. We just stepped through the door, but now look at it. It comes out with the Knight of Wands, where it's like you've made so much progress. You've moved further into your life, further into these higher frequency opportunities that have been coming in for you, that are starting to land now that, yes, you've had the patience, you've done the work, you've done you've done the clearing, you've had the victory. You're in touch with that like very old ancient part of yourself that's been working on this for a very long time. Okay, and so now, you know, you're moving deeper. You're deeper into this garden, deeper into this higher timeline, where it's starting to gain momentum. And I think that's why, again, into the refuge, because, you know, as we move further and further away from these older energies that we've been sloughing off, our life does begin to feel like a refuge, and it begins to match the truth of who we are, the deepest parts of who we are. Okay, so as we move further and further into this garden, I feel like this is validating that, where it's like you have this like powerful movement forward, you're rushing forward, you're unstoppable. So the nightmares of the past, and they're not really nightmares, they're just initiations, they're you know, opportunities to grow and to remember the truth of who you are. And, you know, it's like, again, you've done that, you've had the patience, like maybe to the point where you were like, I don't even know, maybe I'm just crazy, maybe like I'm not going anywhere, I'm just like on this hamster wheel of like, you know, reoccurring trauma or something. But no, you actually were transmuting things, and, you know, that baby actually is landing, and it's landing now. You've already stepped through that portal. Not only have you stepped through the portal into your the reflection of your life, reflecting the truth of who you are, but you're running forward now. There's a fast forward movement. I'm so excited to see this in the reading, because what was going on the last time I was doing the zodiac signs and in the collective reading again was just, you know, the 8 of Swords would come up, or like the 9 of Air, you know, it was just like hanging very, very close to where we were. But now what I'm seeing is we're like collectively, but you are the first sign that I'm seeing this in, since coming on the other side of that equinox. It's like you're moving forward, we're moving forward. I think this is a collective reading, but I think it's very interesting that it's landing specifically on yours first. I always pay attention to what's going on in the collective when I'm on a certain sign, because it's relevant, it means something. So you being the first sign that this is moving forward, you're being a mutable air. It's almost like you're able to like go faster or move through quicker, because you have speed with you. You know, you're not, because every sign, every element is working a different angle of this collective evolution, this collective ascension. You know, so, you know, some of them are doing the deep watery, you know, like really slow. Like this card came up for Cancer once, you know, the first Cancer reading that I did, where they were going like, they were just doing like such deep levels, you know, such deep levels. But you as a mutable air, and of course, you know, you have other things in your chart, but your overall energy that you chose as your, you know, to color everything in your life is very fast movement. You know, it's, I know this is fire, but it's a fast moving card where you can like burn through things very quickly, and you can make some headways. Like some people need to do, you know, sort of like, you know, we're all doing our part, but focusing on you today, what's coming through is like, you know, you're moving through this portal, you're moving deeper into this portal quickly, you're sloughing off these you know, these remnants very easily. It's like, you know, you have your machete through the rainforest and you're just like, wah, 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 you know, you're going through fast. You're leading us, you're leading humanity further into this refuge, this garden, this heaven on earth timeline that we're all starting to move into. Again, all of us having our parts, some of us needing to blaze forward, and seeing that in your sign. And what's interesting is a lot of the readings from like a month or two ago for you were you really were like in a traditional Queen of Swords energy where you had to make a choice. It's like you were making a choice between this timeline and that timeline. And the last reading that we did, it was like, oh, Gemini, you made your choice. You made your choice. You're not in that energy anymore, because you were kind of like, at least the collective I was reading for, you were kind of like, maybe, I don't know, you were just, you know, maybe you were like, yeah, you were just like working out some things in your mind, but, you know, and maybe that's how you were going really deep. No, I'm just decoding. I'm decoding the elements, but yeah, you were like really. It's not stuck, you know. Like somebody like on a superficial level, it's like, oh, you were kind of like stuck in this process, but no, you were like flipping polarities and looking at it from every side and figuring it out from every angle, so you could have it like really integrated. And I think because of that, I'm actually getting chills. I think because of that, that's part of why you're able to move forward so quickly right now. Because again, like whereas some signs like Cancer will do the watery, you know, like deep intuitive levels, is like you were kind of doing the like multi-dimensional versions of reality levels, where you were really exploring whatever that situation was, whatever it was that was up in your life that was like sort of your catalyst moment to jump through this portal. You know, you really like knit it all together. You got all the stitches together in this coherency that's now helping you move forward really quickly. And again, that being a service to humanity, because some people need to go first. Well, why can you go first? Because even when it looked like you were hanging back and stuck, you weren't. You were accessing all the different polarities and weaving them together. I just keep seeing this weaving imagery where you have this like strong cape now on you, you know, this strong cape that just kind of like lets you walk further through into this refuge. So really beautiful. We're at 26 minutes. I do kind of want to pull one last card as a closing message. So I'm going to go back to the Good Tarot. That's where we started. Might take us in a whole other direction. You know, it might throw a whole other thing in here, but let's see where we go. Okay, that's a little, well, yeah, okay. I'm gonna take these. So we get the Chariot, the Nine of Air, and the Five of Wands. So these are the type of cards I was saying we didn't get any of, but they're sandwiched between all this light. And the Knight of the Messenger of Earth is actually the Knight of Pentacles in this deck. Okay, so the Chariot and the Knight of Earth. Here's you committed to the path. You're so committed to the path. And again, you have all the polarities balanced, the light and the dark. You are able to move forward through this terrain. So this is a different message than what I was saying about when this kind of stuff comes up in the reading, and it's showing that like this is the energy you're still in, and you're still kind of like working through it, even though you're on the higher timeline. There's a lot of stuff. This isn't what this is showing for you. This is kind of like a summary of the whole message, where it's like you have so much light. Again, here's the golden. Here's that same color. The same color as my dream, where it's like this new energy that just needed a little bit of brushing away of, you know, the echoes, brushing away the corners of the darkness. This darkness here is not showing as something that's dominant in your field. It's showing as something that you're fearlessly blazing through, because that was part of the mission. I think I'm going to just move the camera instead of slouching. Right at the end of the reading here. But yeah, it's like it's part of your mission, because for me this is a mission card. This is a commitment card dedicated to what? Dedicated to this being your mission, your ancient self. Look at you. You're a warrior. You're a warrior. You've been at this a really long time, and nothing is going to stop you. Nothing is going to stop you. Not only do you have the nothing is going to stop you card, the messenger of moving through, you know, the movements. These are movement cards. The knights, they're moving through. Okay, what are you moving through? You're moving through deeper into this higher timeline, this portal that we've walked through. Some of us are walking through. You're moving through quickly. And you're moving through in service, this being a service card, your mission. You're moving through in service for humanity, because a lot of humanity is still here, just like I was seeing in the other readings, and maybe it will continue to change for the collective that I'm reading for. But you leading the way in this is the Five of Wands, so card of like conflict in the outer world. You know, a lot of different variants of opinions, variants of perspectives, you know, and this being kind of the fear of anxiety card, right? So it's like there are all these different dimensional perspectives floating around in the collective, and a lot of people don't know which one to listen to. So this is very much talking about what I was just saying with when you were in, like what I was picking up on in the other readings, where you were sort of in this field where there were a lot of different vantage points and viewpoints, and how you were using your mind wisely. You had the pig card come up, where you were kind of deciphering a reality from the different dimensional perspectives but you had to explore them all. You had to explore them all, and you had to understand them again so you could weave them together, okay? And then in doing that, we're kind of transmuting fear, because a lot of these perspectives are fear perspectives, and they can make us anxious. And until we really choose to walk through the whole way onto this higher timeline that's available to humanity now, we can have a lot of fear. So there's a threshold of fear that you've already walked through exploring all these different polarities, bringing the polarities into balance, and being able to move through again fearlessly and determinedly, but you're assisting those that are still in this energy, that haven't done that yet. Okay, so you're over there across the threshold, anchoring this energy, because you're so integrated, and because you're carrying your ancient self with you. You are, you're allowing a sense of stability for others who are still in this energy. So that being the service, and that also explaining why Gemini, it seemed to take so long, where you felt like, oh, I'm going to be here forever. Oh my God, it's so slow. It's like, why are you succeeding now? Because you took the time, you allowed this process to happen. Because even my daughter and I were like, what's up with Gemini? What's up with Gemini? All the readings are like, oh my God, they're still in that energy, But now it's like so clear that it's like you were like, there was work to be done there. There was work to be done there in terms of the different perspectives, the different dimensional perspectives. I remember one time I had this dream, and there were all these different layers. I was like, actually, it was kind of another golden dream, because I was on a beach, and there was a person in my life that presented as like a sand elephant, and he stomped his feet, and he shot out all this golden light into me, and I woke up, and I was just filled with all this light. It was very similar to like the bliss feeling that I had last night. It's funny, this dream is coming back to me. It was years ago. And so then I immediately went back into the dream, which hardly ever happens, and there was like a guide there, and again, all the golden light, but she was showing me all these different perspectives. There were all these different layers, all these different dimensional perspectives. This is 2020, when, we were all going through a lot of weird things, right? A lot of variances of belief and, like judgment, talk about this kind of card. And they were showing me all these different levels and layers, but I was supposed to stay in this channel, just kind of like this, just like kind of be still in this channel. And what they showed me is like, in this channel, all of these perspectives merge into one. It was oneness, but it was before I really understood it the way I understand it now, it was a sense of oneness, like where everything is held in that still point. So that being you, spending time in all those different sort of perspectives, and back and forth in the mind, and trying to figure out which one is true and which one is real through the energy. What's it bring up in you? How does it make you feel? Okay, but you did that, and yes, it took a while, but it's because you did that, I'm summarizing, that you are able to move forward so steadily and to be of service for the rest of humanity, because that was a piece that you held as a mutable mental sign that can literally do mental gymnastics. I have Gemini, Moon, and Mars, so I understand that energy, and I'm the same way. Like I'll literally like toss around, like perspectives, and I'll look at it from every single angle, like over and over again. It's like, and I can feel like I'm kind of stuck in it, but I'm really actually learning from this reading how, we're like exploring all of these cups, and it's like what gives us our victory. It's what puts us into, like in my dream, it puts us into that where, because Gemini it's a sign of the duality, but what happens when you go into both sides, and you go into, you don't just ignore, you don't ignore one, you turn towards, and you integrate both. What happens? You come into oneness, you come into unity, because you can only have unity if you have all. You have all. You've explored all the different perspectives, and now you have them all, and because of that, you're able to move forward confidently and to lead the way and to carve the path for others. Oh my God, 34 minutes. Okay, so that was a lot that came out with those last few cards, but thank you for listening. I hope that made sense, and just so much gratitude for the role that you're playing, Gemini, in this collective awakening. And yeah, and I'm sorry for not understanding a month or two ago when I was confused, but now I understand, and I understand myself better as well through this reading. So having Gemini myself. So anyway, much love to you, and I'll see you next time if I do. Okay.